up? What's up, guys? We back, season 2, Beyond the Service
Season two.
podcast, episode 1. We here. One of my best friends, one of my closest friends, Andrew
What's up,
Williams.
man?
How you doing today, bro? I know
Doing
you
good,
just
man.
you had a busy morning and everything.
Yeah, just got done with church, slid over here, but we here now. Let's get it popping.
Yeah, so we're gonna be talking about, the trials and tribulations of your life and seeing where you came from and to do the things that you did, regardless of the friends that you had around you or the peers that you had around you. And I know you obviously did a lot of great things in life. For me, college graduate, you have a good job, a great job working for one of the most known tool companies in America. You got your own, everything's going good for you right now. So, where did it all start? Like, obviously, I know a little more about your background than everybody else.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
tell us where did it all start?
Yeah, man. So I moved to the city. I was in fourth grade. I was going to Price Elementary. I only went there for 1 year. Like I was getting good grades or whatever. I was getting in trouble in class just because the work was a little too easy for me. Like I was a really gifted kid, really good in the classroom. So I ended up meeting up with my mentor Jordan Steffi, who is the founder of Atalo. What's now called Atalo. It was called the Bowtie Program back then. And he helped me put me onto a better path. So I had an opportunity to go to Lancaster Country Day School on a scholarship from fifth grade through high school. So I didn't have to pay for anything.
How was that, like, meeting him? How do you? Because I know obviously, it probably felt like a blessing, but give him a background on Atalo
Yeah,
and
yeah.
going through that process. Because I know, like I said, I've known you, people from Lancaster. They're gonna know
Right.
a little bit about Atalo, but they don't know a lot.
Right. So Atalo's a college access program. When I had first joined, it was really a small group. It was really like a couple big names around Lancaster, myself, Deontay Cherry, Julian Colazzo, you had Portia Speller, like Roman Clay, like big names, right? But the biggest part was, all right, like these are big names as far as athletes, right? How do I make them a well-rounded student? How do I get them to the next level regardless of athletics? And that really came with schooling, right? And I mean, I was fortunate enough to meet someone like Jordan who saw something in me at a young age that I would have never saw from myself. No one in my family went to college. I didn't even know what that would look like. When you're growing up, the only thing that you're really thinking about is like, oh, I'm going to the league. I'm going to the NBA. I'm going to the
Or
NFL.
you're thinking so short term. You're thinking like
Right.
you're looking at a year. Like
Exactly.
I'm in third grade. I'm thinking about fourth grade.
Yeah, I'm thinking about fourth grade.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not thinking about
Yeah.
12th grade. I'm not thinking about applying for colleges and everything. That's not my mindset going into that. Is I'm thinking a year.
Yeah.
Not even a year. Sometimes I'm thinking
Absolutely.
3 months.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking of my
Absolutely.
birthday.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my
No,
birthday.
seriously.
That's what I'm looking forward to. So then you go from the transition of you go from Price, inner city school in the middle of the city, a lot of different diversity, inclusion rates, everything, to going to Country Day. How was that transitioning to a private school,
Yeah.
going to a school where it's majority like white people,
Yeah.
from an inner city school to that, and they're all mostly higher income family too, two parent
Yeah.
households, stuff like that. How was it going into there and developing? I would say like a relationship with your classmates.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know you play basketball, so talk about that too. Going there and playing basketball and everything.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, bro, the biggest it was a culture shock. Like I had never experienced that in my life. I was introduced to a whole new life. Like the lives that some of these kids were living. Like their parents are owners of half of the things in Lancaster. Like the half of the events we go to, buildings we go to, it's owned by their parents, and that's something like I never thought I'd see myself there or even be a part of something like that. But to be in the midst of like powerful people, bro, you start to see something bigger for yourself. You start to dream, you know what I mean? And something that my mentors always told me is like it's hard to be something that you never see. So the fact that I was in this whole new world, I mean, it was scary. The school was hard. Bro, school was so hard. Even in fifth grade, oh my Lord. Bro, I'm like struggling, crying over homework in fifth grade like it was that hard, bro. But yeah, aside from culture shock, bro, it really forced me to like grow up really fast. Like I had to realize that I need to find like what my purpose is. Like obviously I'm not gonna go to the league. I'm in fifth grade. I think I was probably like barely 4 foot, bro. Like I was tiny, bro. I was tiny. I loved basketball, but I had to be like really realistic about all right, where do I see myself going? What am I good at, and how can I capitalize on that? And being around like-minded individuals, where that's kind of how they were brought up. Like you're going to college, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be this. It kind of forced me to shift my focus and be like, all right, like I might not have that two-parent household, I might not have the income, but I can still get there. Like I'm here for a reason.
Yeah, and developing a foundation for yourself, and
Absolutely.
obviously for your family, your siblings, and everything. Because I know, you got younger siblings that probably look up
Oh
into
yeah.
your success and they want to replicate it. And something that you keep saying is that it was a culture shock, everything, and that you started questioning yourself a lot. Like I know a lot of people when they get put in the better situations,
Hmm.
they start to question themselves and start to value their worth and question their value. So
Absolutely.
where was that mentally you were thinking about? I know that was coming up a lot. Like, do I really deserve this? Is this
Right.
really meant
Oh
for
yeah.
me? Where was that? Because I know in fifth grade, you're not thinking as logically and
Yeah.
you're not as emotionally aware as you are as an adult. So maybe if you could run through, I know in high school, if that ever came up, how were you approaching that as
Yeah.
someone that was a little more emotionally aware?
Yeah, I think in high school is when the culture shock really hit me though, because at that time I wasn't really hanging out with my friends at Country Day. I was hanging out with my friends that I grew up with, right? And high school is like gets it like a really key part of your life where people start to go down different paths and they choose their way. And I'll just never forget like some of my friends going to jail and things like that in high school, and that's like unheard of to those kids, right? But me, that's what I'm dealing with outside of
That's
school.
your reality.
Exactly, that's my reality, and I'm like sitting back like, wow, those are my friends, or like that's my family. It's like, is this what it's about to be like for me? And then you really get stuck in that imposter syndrome, bro, where you just feel like you don't belong. Like you start self sabotaging to the point where you're literally just wasting your opportunity. And I would say like my freshman sophomore year of high school, I was really self sabotaging. Like I remember days like, bro, I would wake up, I can't even go to school. Like I don't want to go to school today. I would miss so much school, just slacking in the classroom because I just felt like I didn't deserve it. Um, I just felt like after seeing all my friends go through all that, it's like, well, that's my future. Like kind of just forcing that on myself, and that just wasn't the reality. Like I had the opportunity to do great things, and I had the skill set for it. It's a matter of if I was gonna be willing to put in the time and sacrifice for that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a human value that we hold as negative though. Is a lot of people self sabotage.
Oh, absolutely.
When you get yourself in a better situation, something that you work for, you start to question like you start to look at your reality of where you grew up,
Yeah.
and it's a lot easier for people that grew up in better neighborhoods to
Mhm.
not feel that way because they are surrounded by
Yeah.
success. But
Exactly.
when you're surrounded by failures and you're succeeding, you start questioning like, is this really meant for me?
Yeah.
Like why me? Why am I the one
Yeah.
that made it out? And things like that. And I know that can lead you're either gonna go down that path
Yeah.
and you're gonna start self sabotaging and really throw
Absolutely.
away your opportunities. And I know that you had great mentors to look back on to tell you, to explain to you that well, everything that happened was meant to happen for a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
So then you go from there, you know, I mean, your high school accolades speak for themselves. 1,000-point scorer, you graduated, great GPA, you graduated with the opportunity to go on to college. So where were you at with basketball coming into your senior year? Was it already in your mind that I don't even want to play basketball in college, or were you still pursuing that?
Yeah, I would say going into my senior year, like basketball had always been like when I was younger, it's like I loved the game, right? Like everybody does. Like I said, I wanted to go to the league and that was it. But once like reality set in, like junior year, I wasn't really like working outside of practices, outside of games, and I really didn't have that love for the game anymore. But it was more so like an outlet from this. Like it was something that kind of combined these two worlds for me. Like I knew that if I played well here, like I'd feel more better. I feel better about myself. But also it would keep me out of trouble from the things that are waiting for me back home. You know what I mean? And kind of keep my head on straight. So by the time my senior year came around, junior year we had lost the district championship. So like the only thing that was on my mind was like I got to get back to the chip. I got to make history. And that's something I'm huge on is like leaving your legacy. Like when you die, like what are people gonna remember you for? And 1,000 points was one of those things, and winning a district championship, because the district championship would have been the first one in boys basketball history for the school. So that's all I was focused on. Literally was just like those two accolades.
Yeah, and I know at Country Day they don't have a lot of sports.
Right.
So if you win a district championship in any sport,
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Yeah, it's a big deal.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a single A school. So I mean, my class is like 50 kids maybe, and that was like a giant class. So if you do something like that, you're gonna be remembered. Um, so yeah, come down to senior year, I wasn't really looking, like I wasn't sending film out, I wasn't sending tape out or anything like that. I was really just like hooping. like literally just hooping, bro. Just trying to get through the season and make something happen. Like I wasn't, everything outside really didn't matter. And then ultimately we ended up winning this district championship.
What was that moment like? There's two moments I want you to highlight.
Yeah,
What was it like scoring your 1,000 points? Cause was it senior night?
no, it was senior year, but it wasn't senior night.
All right, so
Yeah,
your senior year you scored your 1,000 points. What was that moment like? What was
yeah.
the lead up to the game? How many points did you need to score?
I think I want to say I needed like 20 or 21, but I really wasn't trying to get it. We were playing against Lebanon Catholic or something like that. They weren't really good. So I was just gonna like get a lead up and then sit the rest of the game. And then my coach came up to me at halftime or after halftime. He's like, "You need 10 points. You want to go for it or not?" And in that moment, I was like, "Yo, you never know. Like I could not wake up tomorrow. I could get injured. Like anything happen." I was like, "I might as well go for it." And I think I went for 10 straight or like 11 straight, just like that. Just like that. I just went for 11 straight. And
It was
like,
one of those. You
yeah.
tell them like, "Give me the ball, get out
Yeah,
my way."
just like I got it. I got it. They're setting me screens like I was doing anything at that point. I was getting in my bag. But scoring that bucket, like it didn't feel real. Like that's something you dream about as a kid, like having accolades like that. And to be able to now look at my name up on a banner anytime I go into the school is like that's huge for me. I take a picture no matter how many times I go there, I'll take a picture just to remind myself like I can do tough things. Like that's a huge reminder. Like if I can score 1,000 points, what else can I do? You know what I mean? Then winning a district championship was even crazy. I'm not even gonna lie, I cried, bro. When the buzzer went off, bro, I cried, bro. I was crying like a baby. And but it was really because like I could see how proud my family was of me, knowing my story and knowing my trials and tribulations, and to get to that point and succeed was like it was huge. Just not even for me, it was more so for my family and for my teammates. Like most of my teammates on that team, we had been playing together since middle school, so like we were really like a brotherhood, and I trusted them guys with everything, with my life, because I know they got me, I got them, and that's just how we rocked. It's not like we had the best hoopers or anything. Most of those guys like played other sports.
They were like mainly other sports players.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember having a conversation with you. They were like,
Yeah.
the one kid was like a lacrosse player.
Yeah, yeah, like lacrosse, soccer, like
Yeah.
that. All of them played a different sport. Me, I was just solely on basketball. So to be able to bring together guys like that and really instill that belief in them, it was huge, bro. It was
I
major.
mean, that speaks to your leadership skills, and
Yeah.
that goes back and it ties back into having mentors. And I think that a lot of people feel like they can do it themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
But a lot of people realize that villages aren't built solely on
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah,
They're built with other people. You need other people to instill wisdom in you that have walked down that road already. You know, you had
Absolutely.
Jordan Steffi, who was a Division I quarterback. You had Deontay Cherry, who was a Division I wide receiver. You had these players
yeah,
that succeeded academically, but they also succeeded athletically,
Yeah,
and they were able
absolutely.
to instill leadership qualities in you. For you to take a group, I mean, if you look at the roster at the beginning of the season, you look at the players, you look at, their primary sports are other sports.
Right.
They're the only primary basketball player
Yeah.
on that team.
yeah,
To take those teams and win the district championship, be the runner up the year before and then win it is important. To take those to instill belief into those players to make them feel like they believe in themselves.
yeah,
I mean, that speaks highly on yourself as a man, because those qualities carry on into life.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So, and I know another big thing that happened, I want to say during high school. I don't know. I forget if it was maybe the end of middle school. Polly with the dollars.
Oh yeah,
How was that?
Polly with the money.
Yeah. How was
Yeah,
that?
so-
How was that? Becoming an older brother.
Bro, it was crazy. I'm the youngest of what I got 7 siblings, and I was the youngest. And then my junior year, we adopted Polly, and bro, my whole life changed. Like mind you, I told you my freshman and sophomore year, I was messing up in school, just being down on myself, not believing in myself, and I wasn't a good example. I felt like it was kind of over for me. My destiny was determined, and I was just letting life go by. And then Polly came into my life, and to see the love from a child, bro, is unlike other. Like your younger siblings, they really look up to you, and you could really do no wrong in their eyes, and that's really what shifted my focus. Whereas like this is no longer for me. Like if I was on this journey for myself, I would have stopped a long time ago. I started doing it for her because I remember I had given a speech in front of like 1,000 people. It was in a Talo event. Lou Holtz was there. And I had given a speech, and it was just like a 1-minute quick speech thanking sponsors, thanking donors, and kind of telling my story a little bit. And then I come back down to my table, my little sister's bawling her eyes out, just like crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? She said, I'm so proud of you. And when I heard that, bro, I cracked. Like, I was like, yo, like, I never had that. Like, you know, it's different when your parents tell
When your
you they're
parents
proud
say
of you.
they
You expect them
expect,
to.
yeah.
You expect them to be proud of you. But, like, my little sister don't know nothing from a can of paint. Like, she was 4 at this time. So, like, she don't know nothing. And to see her, like, all her raw emotions and to be proud of me, bro, that's what really, like, that, like, snapped something in my head. And ever since then, bro, I just been on it.
Yeah, I know Polly definitely still plays a huge role.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you know, like I said, spoke about earlier, having to build a foundation and having to develop qualities that you can display in front of her because obviously, you know, like you said, you were the youngest.
Yeah.
So you had people to look up to, but like you said, they don't do no wrong in your eyes.
Exactly.
You only see success.
Yeah.
So you know your failures,
Mm-hmm.
but Polly will never.
Mm-mm.
But she only sees your success, and that's only going to lead her to take those steps that
Yeah.
you wish. So now we're going into your accolades. They took over. You develop this foundation, and then you go into your freshman year of college at Shippensburg.
Yeah.
Is it a rewind of everything happening all over again? Is it a did the cycle just start all over
Yeah,
again?
bro.
Or what was that going into that? Going into that freshman year, whole different college is different. It's a different beast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no authoritative figure over me.
Yep.
If I go to class, I go to class.
Yep.
If I don't want to go to class, I don't have to go to class.
Yeah.
So what was that having to redevelop a schedule for yourself?
Yeah, yeah. I would say, so like the only difference between going through high school and country day and then starting fresh at a college, I would say, is that I was in a better mindset. You know what I mean? Like I knew it wasn't going to be easy by any means, but I knew that I was capable. Like my high school was way harder than anything I did in college by far. So I was like, okay, I can do this. I know it's going to be hard, but I think the biggest thing was like the financial aspect. Like I went through all of high school, my parents never paid a dime. I went through college, I had to make sure my parents didn't pay a dime. Like I put it all on myself. So the fact that I put it all on myself made me go that much harder. Cause like if I mess this up, I'm messing up my own life. I'm not messing up my parents' money. Like none of that. It's on me. I'm gonna have to pay that loan back. You know what I mean? Those grants, whatever the case may be. But I went in with a different mindset as far as like where I want to take it. I could see it now. Now I'm on college campus. I had been visiting colleges since I was in 5th grade. And now I'm on a college campus and it's real and I'm going to class. So I really made it a point to like be intentional with what I'm doing.
For every single semester that you had to make
Everything, bro.
make a statement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then was there ever a moment where you felt, because I know for me going into college, there was always I don't want to say regret, but it always felt like I had left a part of myself behind.
Yeah.
And I know you obviously had friends that you left behind.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment that you dragged yourself down waiting for other people or hoping that other people were able to meet you where you're at and succeed just like you were? Because I know that comes with having friends and growing up and developing relationships along the way. That is a part of life.
Yeah.
A part of life is having people that you have to leave behind, that
Absolutely.
you have to sacrifice for
Absolutely.
yourself to succeed.
Yeah. Like I'm huge on connections and like the people that I care about, I care for them very strongly. My friends, I treat them as brothers. Like as you know, I treat them like family. So something that really was tough for me was leaving everybody back home and going to college and kind of literally starting a whole new life, bro. Like I went from having small town notoriety where people knew me from being in the newspaper or whatever the case may be, to I go to a college campus with 15,000 people and nobody knows me. And having to start over. So like I was kind of stuck in this place where I was like trying to find myself again. It's like, whoa, who am I now? Like I'm a young man. I have an opportunity to go to college. Like what am I going to do with this? But I think the thing that really helped me get beyond that is the one time I remember freshman year I came back home for a weekend and I picked up one of my bros and we were just talking. I was just telling him like, bro, I'm struggling. Like I wish y'all were up here with me. And he just told me like, he's like, bro, like you go and get it. You get out of here. Like you make it happen for us. Like he's like, if you're successful, we're all successful. And that's what really motivated me, because now to this day, like that's still like my family, you know what I mean? And they, regardless of what they were doing, they never ever let me go down and take a separate route. They always kept me focused and made sure I was doing what I had to.
That's the thing that people need to separate, is having selfless friends.
Absolutely.
So if you have a friend that is going down the wrong path and they understand that, they are not going to drag you down
Yes,
with
bro.
them.
Yes, bro.
So that was the thing. That's something that you don't find in a lot of people. A lot of people are selfish.
Absolutely. Yes.
They only look out for themselves. So
Yeah.
they look at it as a thing of, and a lot of people are hateful. You know, a lot of your closest friends hate to see
Envious,
you
bro.
succeed.
A lot of people are envious.
So you could have had that, but to
Mhm.
have those friends that develop the love for you and a genuine care to
Yeah.
want to see you succeed, because I know like college is not easy. It's not easy by any.
Not at all.
Some high schools are harder than college, but
Yeah,
college
college
is
in
stressful
general.
because it's a financial liability
Yeah.
that you develop upon yourself. You sit there and tell yourself that you're taking on this bill
Yeah.
every single year.
Yeah, you see that
Yeah.
negative 10,000. You see that plus 10,000 in your account. You're like, huh? I got to pay
Yeah.
10,000 to go to
Yeah.
class. And then you see
So-
textbooks is another $2,000. You're like, oh man. So it's like, bro, you really have no choice. If you mess this up, you're in the hole.
Yeah,
You're in the hole
You're in
bad.
the hole with nothing to show for it.
Nothing.
And that's where I think people fail is, you know, a lot of people go to college for I would say I went to college for the right reasons and
Yeah.
ended up going for the wrong reasons and then
Yeah.
having to finish for the right reasons.
Right.
So a lot of people go there with the right intention. They get there, they don't have the sense of structure, and then they lose it.
Yeah.
Because the partying and everything can
It can
take
mess you
over.
up fast. Bro,
But
I think
you
at
have to
Shipping.
realize
Go ahead.
you have to realize where you're gonna stand.
Yeah. I think at Shippensburg, bro, it's over a 50% dropout rate or something
Yeah.
close to that, bro. And that's insane to think about. You're telling me 1 in every 2 people is dropping out. You go to school and you're there for the wrong reasons, bro. You start hanging with the wrong people. You end up not going to class. You don't go for a week. Next thing you know, you flunked your whole entire semester. Just gone like that. Couple few dumb decisions, bro, could really end your entire career, and then you're back home, and it's like back at square one. It was like I graduated college, but now what do I do?
Yeah. And then if you think about it, even the thing of how many people do we know in Lancaster that have went to Shippensburg,
Yeah.
and how many of them have actually succeeded and finished
Yeah.
those 4 years. So the dropout rate statistics are real because we've seen it.
We've seen it,
We've
yeah.
seen the numbers.
Absolutely.
I've seen the people
Yeah.
go drop out and, you know, wherever they do, their life is what they do. But
Yeah.
to go on, it's a hard 4 years. So you figured it out. What would you say is your hardest year? And then what was it like going through that? Because I know COVID happened during,
Yeah. My
I know-
freshman year, it happened.
yeah, COVID was your freshman year. And then your sophomore year, COVID is still a reality.
Yeah.
So class is not, school isn't normal still.
Right.
So what was your hardest year and how was it to recover from that?
Yeah, I would say my sophomore year. So that was our first time we were back on campus in dorms, but all classes were virtual. And I had gotten put into a dorm with 3 random roommates. We had like a suite or whatever, so it was like 2 rooms, kitchen, dining, like living room, all that stuff. But sophomore year was definitely my craziest because first semester, about like October, my first semester, sophomore year, my mom had gotten sick. She had gotten COVID and then ended up having to be in a medically induced coma. And that's while I'm in school. So 4 months, bro, I didn't have my mom. And every day I'm getting called like, yeah, she has a 1% chance to live. We don't know what we're going to do. And like, I'm hearing that and I still got to go to class. I still got to make sure that I'm okay. And it was like my whole world was crashing. Because in my head, I'm thinking like, who's going to take care of my little sister? Like I'm coming home like every weekend, making sure she's good, calling her, like calling my aunt to make sure she got on the bus, like trying to make sure I'm there for her. And like at that moment, I'm thinking like I'm dropping out. Like I'm banking on the fact that like I'm gonna be here motherless, and that's just the way God wanted to be, and I'm gonna have to turn it up from here. Like I'm gonna have to be a man. And ultimately she ended up being okay in the end after a couple of months, setback, but like that really changed my whole outlook, not even like just on life, but like what I wanted to do. Like that kind of gave me that refresher that I needed. Like you're not in this for yourself, like you're doing this for your family. You want to take care of your family, like this is what you gotta do. You gotta become a man now. And I think that was major, bro, and that really shifted my junior and senior year. Like I switched everything around. I kind of like got into this business mode, started creating, started just putting myself out there, figuring out what I wanted to do and who I was.
Yeah, I know, and I know your relationship with your mom. Your mom's your staple.
Absolutely.
You know, so having to think that you were gonna lose her and for her to beat those odds, speaks a lot to her character. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know your mom.
Right.
Your mom's strong. Like,
Right.
that's not. We're not talking about just a regular. Woman. We're talking about someone that raised you
Yeah.
and raised Polly
Yeah.
off her stability.
Yeah.
So to have to, that for that to be a reality of, not only am I losing my mother, but I'm also going to have to explain to my
sister.
sister,
Yeah. Right. How do I do that?
who doesn't understand anything.
Yeah.
Because death, when you're younger, you don't understand it.
You don't understand.
You don't see the reality of losing
Facts.
a person. Because in your eyes, these people live forever.
Right. Yeah. They're
You don't-
superhuman.
Yeah, they're not. They never die.
Right.
So having to, I know bracing yourself for that conversation had to be emotionally one of the hardest things that
Yeah.
going into it. And the death is a reality.
Yeah.
People we love die, but I don't think we don't come to terms with it until it happens.
Yeah.
So you can prepare yourself all you want for someone's death.
You'll never be ready.
Until they die, you never.
Yeah.
It's like you hit a wall.
Yeah.
And you don't know where you're gonna go, how you're gonna get around this, or how you're gonna get through it. So I know that for you, especially coming off of COVID
Mm-hmm.
and having to deal with that, was definitely one of the hardest things that had to go on in life, and to come back from it. Because a lot of people would have pitied yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And they would have dropped out that moment.
Yeah.
Even if their mom was okay, they would have felt like they needed to, feel worthless about their situation.
Absolutely. Hopeless.
And then you go from that and you rise and you develop this entrepreneurial mindset of, okay, if I want to take care of my family, how am I going to do it?
Right.
Because this path I'm on is not going to do it.
Absolutely.
So where did you go from there? I know you created Drew Creative, right?
Drew 2 Creative, yeah. So
that's a spinoff of your Instagram,
Yeah.
2 Up Drew.
Yep.
So what was that, developing that? What was your plan going into that?
Yeah, so that semester, actually, I ended up making Dean's List. And I remember, like, I couldn't wait to tell my mom. Like, after that, I was like, I know she's going to be okay. Like, she's going to make it. Like, I wasn't accepting nothing else, you know what I mean? Just praying every day about it. Like, God, I know you're going to bring her out of the coma and everything's going to be great. We're going to be fine. And I remember getting that Dean's List, like, email in my inbox and seeing that. And I was like, yo, she's going to be so proud of me. So, like, that was what kind of, like, shifted my focus. I was like, I need to make my family proud. Like, what am I going to do if I leave, if something happened to me tomorrow, like, what am I leaving for my family? So that's when I ended up interning at Atalo. I interned there for 2 years, 2 summers in a row. And after the first summer, I had been a part of, like, their creative. They had, like, a creative team with Deontay, Madison, and them, and Dak. And they really, like, inspired me, bro, because I think something that people don't realize is, like, everyone has a story. And if you have a story, you can create something, literally anything, bro. And that's when I kind of learned the basics of, I remember I was at school one day, I was like, I kind of want to learn Photoshop. Like, how do I use Photoshop? I called up Madison from Atalo, and then she hopped on the Zoom call with me, taught me the basics, and it was all over after that. Like, I was creating all these sports edits, like, trying to familiarize myself with stuff. And then I had an opportunity to work with the basketball team. All of my friends were on the basketball team. Tyler Crespo, Manheim Township, almost a 2,000-point scorer in high school. So knowing him was kind of my in for the team because they didn't have a social media account. So I went to them. I was like, hey, like, can I be a team manager or something? Like, I got an idea. I want to start a social media account for you guys. So started the account, and I was making all the graphics for myself, like for myself. Like, it was all self-made. Like, I was just winging it. And then it got to a point where, like, after that year, I was able to give the account to, like, the actual sports information, like, team that Shippensburg has for athletics. So that was, like, a huge accomplishment for me because not only was I starting to, like, get back around basketball, like, the thing that kind of got me through high school and all those tough times. So now I'm around that, I'm around my friends, and I'm learning something new. It was like everything was just clicking for me, and you could tell by how I was carrying myself.
And you're developing an avenue to express yourself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things with entrepreneurship it's the thing of how am I going to express myself?
Right.
How am I going to implement myself into this business and to make it work? So a lot of people, I would say this because we had this conversation before. We both studied business management.
Yeah.
So we had this conversation before about people create businesses for the wrong reason.
Absolutely.
They create it for the income.
Yep.
And money only gets you
It
so
gets so
far.
far.
when the money stops, isn't coming in.
Yep.
What's gonna get you through that?
Yeah.
Because it takes a little while before you're making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So then you have to find something that you love.
Yep.
Because if I love it, I don't care how much I make from
Right.
it, because I just love doing this.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like I'm working.
Yeah.
So I know that for you, that was a big thing. Was I love this so much that even if I'm not making money from it,
Yep.
I just love doing this. I
Yeah.
love basketball.
Yep.
Now I love this sport again that I grew up and got me through
Yep.
everything. I love this sport again. I love being creative. I love, managing this, and I'm around everybody that
Yeah.
I care about.
Absolutely.
So I know that's like a turning point, and going into that would be, where did you take that, and how did you develop that, and how are you planning to implement that now? Because
Yeah.
obviously we're speaking, past tense. You went, you did all that, you graduated college,
Yeah.
you have a great job. You want to speak about?
Yeah. So I graduated in 2023 from SHIP. I majored in entrepreneurship and digital marketing. So I was a dual major, just like forcing myself to overachieve. Just to go back to the point I said earlier, is like to show myself that I'm capable of doing tough things, like things that a normal person probably wouldn't think about doing. Like, all right, I'm already getting by with one major. I was like, let's make it harder. Let's add another one. But I think like that really speaks volume to my passion for like not being successful, but learning. Like, I just want to learn. I want to be the best person that I can be. And I don't even know what that looks like right now. You know what I mean? It's a learning process. But yeah, graduating, being the first in the family to graduate, and then going on to work a job. So now I do sales for Milwaukee Tools. And that's even been a thing, because like I didn't know anything about power tools. not a thing, but it was like something that they told me that they saw in me while interviewing, is like, hey, like, we see this in you. Like, we see that you're a leader. We see that you're self-driven. And, like, hearing those things again, bro, it's confirming to all the work that you've put in, because you don't really give yourself that grace when you're in the moment, because you just want to – you're thinking about the end goal. And I think that's why a lot of people fall short, is because we're looking all the way at the top, but we forget about all the steps that we have to take in order to get there. So getting that job was, like, major for me. It's like, wow, like, it finally paid off kind of thing. But it was scary, like learning something new. But I ended up being really good at it. I'm doing a good job there. It's about to be a year since I've been there. But aside from that, like, just learning new skills is super, super important, bro. Like, you need to continue to learn, regardless of what you're doing.
You need to develop as a person. You can't stay stagnant.
You cannot.
And then going from that is, you can't be complacent with your success either.
Yeah.
So you have to want to strive to be better.
Yeah.
So I know that was, for you, was like, I always want to be better.
Yeah.
I want to be better.
Yeah.
So then you take this, you have this Instagram account, Jutsu Creative. How did you take it, and where are you taking it now? Because I know pretty soon you're going to be up to the next biggest thing. So what's the next thing? What's the next step? We talk about all these accomplishments. What is the next goal afterwards?
Yeah, absolutely. So in high school, I had come up with this idea that I was going to start a clothing brand, and it was called 2 Up Apparel, which is like, okay, cool. I had a story for what 2 Up meant, but obviously, like high school, I didn't have the capital. I was in basketball, then I had AAU practice, and then I was working at Foot Locker. Like, and all my checks were going to shoes, 100%. Every single check was going straight to shoes. So like, I didn't have the capital to really build a brand. But then when I studied entrepreneurship in college, this is something that my professor just always said. He's like, whatever you're selling is not selling because of the product. He said it's selling because of the story. What does this logo mean? What does this brand mean? And that's what people are going to buy into. They're going to buy into that lifestyle or to the meaning of that brand. So with that being said, 2025, I'll be releasing Inner Realms Creative Club with one of my business partners and one of my best friends. This year, we actually have some samples in the process getting made right now. So looking forward to that, and kind of putting my all into this time. Now that I have the capital to do something like that, super excited to start something like this and kind of have something that I can call my own, and just excited to see where this journey takes me.
Yeah, I know, obviously, it's come a long way, and to develop a clothing brand is going to be hard, but it's also one of the most passionate things you could do in life is develop something that is a necessity.
Yeah.
People need clothes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you develop something, like I said before, if you are passionate about it, it's only going to succeed, because you refuse to give up.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where that's gonna go, and
Yes,
I'm
sir.
excited to see, obviously for you and your business partner, me knowing him. So I'm happy that you guys are developing something to funnel your energy into, because I know for him is also a big
Absolutely.
step in the right direction for
Yeah,
him.
and
So
it's something that means a lot. Like the brand inner realms, it represents like that inner battle that we all have, right? We're always fighting with ourselves every day, and it's about how you overcome that, how you bounce back from these setbacks, and it all starts from inside, bro. You
yeah,
gotta, if you can't handle your mental, if you can't handle your emotions, bro, you can only go so far. So that's kind of what the brand stands for. It's like we're all going through something, but we're gonna make something out of it, and that's something that we're making is those clothes.
you have to master yourself before you master anything else. You
Absolutely,
have to master all the battles that you're fighting inside, and
absolutely,
I think that's why I've created what I've created, because I want to show people that it's not just you.
right.
Everybody deals with it, but
Yep.
everybody has to find a way to
Yeah,
deal with it.
yeah,
So I
absolutely.
think that bringing you on to kick off season 2, I mean, there was nobody else that I thought of when I thought about renewing and developing another season. There
Sir.
was you were the footnote. So I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for setting it off with
Yes,
a
sir.
tone. I mean,
You already know.
you're talking about dropping a clothing brand and
Yeah.
everything. That's not
2025, man. It's gonna be
yeah.
a big year. It's a big year.
So, but
2024 was the change.
I appreciate you. If y'all want to follow the Keep Up With His Story and keep up with his clothing brand, his Instagram is 2UpDrew.
Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna make sure to tag it in the video so you have it to follow him. And also, if you're not subscribed, bro, please subscribe.
Hit the subscribe
Because it
button.
doesn't take nothing to follow someone. It doesn't take nothing to subscribe. It doesn't take nothing. All it is just smash that button. You feel me? If you like this video, make sure to leave a like and everything. We'll be dropping another video in the next week. So just stay tuned, all right? Have a good day.